Let me know when you go.
Woo, 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 woo. You hear that? That's them dogs barking. It is your boy Simo the C Mitchell. That's the homie Doe. And if we shenan once, we'll shenan again. This is the Falcons Bird Bath. I'm sorry, newly the Bird Bath ATL. And we got an action-packed show today, man. Our story today is the Tua versus Penix battle from Ian Cunningham's press conference. But first and foremost, we're going to get into a little bit of the new moves that they have made. Right now, DeShawn Hand is the Falcons' newest addition on that defensive line, man, and I really love what Ian Cunningham is doing. Make sure you guys stay tuned all the way through so we can get to that story today, because we're going to have a real deep conversation about Tua versus Penix and what the implications of that's going to be. But
I'm not feeling good, man. I'm not feeling good.
My boy Smitty say he ain't feeling good. What's going on? What's going on? You got bird flu?
I'm sick, y'all. Man, we trying to make it happen. Stop hating.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, people are hating, man, and they have been hating on a lot of the new moves. We haven't been making a lot of sexy moves, but I really like this move of DeShawn Hand. He's a guy that has been mostly a rotational piece as a defensive tackle throughout the league. Last year, he had probably arguably one of his best years. Previously, it was with Miami, but he just came from the Chargers. He was a starter for the most games of his career ever so far. He started, I believe, 13 games last year. 1 sack, 4 deflected passes, maybe 2 tackles for losses or something like that. And he had an interception and a fumble on the same play. But just known as a run stuffer. That's his best. That is his best attribute, and that's what the Falcons needed moving forward. I think that what the Falcons are doing right now is really gearing themselves up to be able to go with best player available in the draft at this point in time. We don't really have a whole lot of needs left at this point, just in my humble opinion. I feel as though the Falcons, they've covered almost all their bases. Linebacker is covered. The wide receiver position is covered. Defensive tackle is pretty much covered. So they could kind of go any direction they want, and they really made sure that they doubled down on that pass rush. I really love what they did out there with Ebukam and what they did with Oholahe. And quiet is kept. A lot of people don't realize that LaCale London, and myself included, I didn't realize that LaCale London, and if you look at the stats on the screen, we're going to get to the chat in a second, but if you look at the stats on the screen, LaCale London also had 5 sacks last year as well. Now, that's huge. I thought that James Pierce Jr. was going to be a huge loss for us, which it will be if he does not play this year. But we've got pass rush and sack production coming from all over. You also look at it. Brandon Dorless was our second leading sack master with 8.5. You got Jalen Walker, of course, with his 5.5 sacks. But LaCale London, huge for us. Also, people were saying, we got to really shore up the line a lot more. Rukaroro gave you 3.5. I think that we could replace Kaden Ellis' 3.5 sacks. Leonard Floyd, we could replace that. But we now have a really stout run defender with DeShawn Hand, and he is not going to be forced to be a starting defensive tackle at this point in time. Doe, what are you feeling about the next move? Do you think that we're set up to go best player available, and where would you like to see us go in the draft initially?
Yeah, I like the DeShawn Hand move. I think it was dope. I think it made a lot of sense. We need some space eaters. I like LaCale London being re-signed. A lot of people was hating on that. Like you said, the man had 5 sacks? 5 sacks. LaCale London? Yeah. 5 sacks. And it's not always about getting sacks, it's about getting to the quarterback, making them feel uncomfortable, getting them off. Also being a presence in the paint. So when they come through, you got somebody that's gonna, make it hard for you when you're trying to run through them holes. So yeah, no, I think it's gonna set us up. And I was telling you this before. A lot of people looking at it, set us up to get somebody else. Mm-hmm. Also, it may set us up to be able to trade back.
I like that.
Ian Cunningham loves trading back in the draft. So, you get them, you come in the second round and they don't like who they got, on the board at that time. You trade back, gain some more picks, and then you can get stout that way too. Because if your guy is going to be there in the, on the round 3 pick, why not trade back, get some assets, and make it happen. So I think he's been making some really good moves. Definitely a lot of budget moves, but the best budget guy available. So we got to look at that too. And like you said, setting up for the draft, who knows? You go in there, you can go for that wide receiver, or you can even go for a defensive guy. It's going to be a lot of defensive guys there day 3, day 4 possibly, and I think we can make some moves, brother.
100%.
Yes, sir. I like what it's doing.
100% agree with you, man. Look, we gonna pop over to the to our chat real quick. We already got guys in here, but first and foremost, if you're just now tuning in to us, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you have, make sure you hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything that's happening throughout the rest of the offseason. Shout out to the homie Trent over here. He says, and the question of the day was, what do you guys think the Falcons' next predicted move will be? Trent says, I don't know. For once, I'll understand it probably will be at corner, but be upside, low-cost vet. I agree with that. There's definitely some cornerbacks I like out there. 803 Tonio says L'Jarius Sneed would be a steal for CB2, but I doubt we even look his way. I'm not sure how much cap space we have left. Real quick, Tonio, if you could let us know what is the projected contract that they are saying for L'Jarius Sneed. He's a guy that I've also been looking at. A lot of the cornerbacks that I really liked and I talked about in our previous videos have already been signed up and locked up. David Breland says this is going to be fun. Definitely agreed. For once, I'm really on the edge of my seat in terms of where we are. And like I said, I think we're really geared up for best player available, bro. Trenton says again, I will say Ian is the man, saying he sat down with the coordinators, making sure that these guys all align with what they want. And that's one thing that I really liked as well. I watched that press conference. That's what our brother Trent, number one Bird Bath supporter, was saying previously. Or that's what he's talking about. In the press conference yesterday, they were asking Ian Cunningham which way does he want to go in the draft moving forward and what direction they want to go with the team. He says, not about what I want. It's about what does this coaching staff want? What are they trying to do specifically? I think a lot of people really criticize these GMs for some of the moves that they're making, but the real GMs are locked into what your defensive and your offensive coordinator or the directions of the team, where they're wanting to go. Ulbrich is definitely is all about attack and pressure fronts. Although we do need us a run stuffer, I don't think that Ulbrich likes those huge nose tackles. Everybody's been saying nose tackle, but that's why I said run stopping specialist. We need a guy who can really eat up double teams and can get into the backfield, and that's one thing that I really like about what we did with the DeShawn Hand pick. But he also spoke heavily about how at our wide receiver position, how that really does a lot to complement what Drake London does, and it also complements heavily what our boy Kyle Pitts does, and that was music to my ears. It makes me feel as though we're probably going to get a deal done with Kyle Pitts as well. They are really keeping in mind to bring him along for certain. They really want him there in Atlanta, in my humble opinion. So I think that we're really going to do something to add there. We'll pull down to a few more comments. David Breland also says Cameron Thomas. I like that. I like that suggestion. Man, you guys have been on it, man, and we really appreciate the support, man. And you guys make this show as well, man. So don't ever discount what you guys bring to the table in this show. Trent says, I love the hand pick for helping us this season. I really feel as though we will draft a tackle with a higher upside day one, but hand checks the box, especially for this year. I think you mean more of a day two because if I'm not mistaken, draft first round is only on the first day, and then second day is 2 and 3. And I'm not against that. I wouldn't be against that. I think that I think that it's a strong indicator we might potentially go with still go with the wide receiver, but I could also see us going with a cornerback. I'm not sure of how much depth they like with the cornerbacks, but last time I checked, I think there were a lot of second rounders that they really liked. David Breland says Chris Williams Two, I like these picks. Definitely, Chris Williams was great. Ian Cunningham has some familiarity with him, and he said that Ulbrich has some familiarity as well. I'm sorry, not Ulbrich, but Stefanski has some familiarity with him as a player. So I do really like that. I think that Chris Williams is going to be a really sneaky pickup for us, and a guy who is going to have an opportunity to really just make a name for himself. These guys are really jumping at the opportunity, I think, to really show what they got. Trent says we could get pass rush without Pierce. He's my favorite player, but business-wise, trade him as soon as it is allowed. We'll see. It really depends, and I'm not against that. The details are very damning coming out, but it's interesting. Ponds, please, from Indiana, David Breland says. Okay, maybe I'll do a breakdown on Ponds as well, too, man. I really like all these suggestions you guys have. That's some food for thought. And as the free agency settles down, I'm definitely going to do some due diligence to do a little bit of tape breakdown. I already got Steve Hightower gearing up to talk about some of the combine players that stood out in some of the mock drafts. We're going to definitely be doing mock drafts and getting into a lot more our roots with actual tape breakdown and film breakdown. But and we'll revisit a little bit more of this of some of these picks that we have coming up and in this show, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the implications of some of these pickups that we've had. I really, like I said, really with Zacchaeus and Dotson, those have been great. But we're going to go ahead and jump right now, without further ado, into the Tua versus Penix debate. Now, one thing that Ian Cunningham said in that press conference that stood out was that we have two running backs right now, two backup running backs, but we're going to definitely add to that running back room. But he also said that there would be a competition there, and we would also have a competition at quarterback. They asked him what his thoughts were, and he said, hey, Tua knows he is coming in to compete, just like Michael Penix knows he's coming in to compete. And it's a mixed bag with that. There are a lot of guys who really love Tua. There are a lot of guys who love Penix. I love Penix. And there's a few guys who are like, oh, man, I wish he wouldn't have said that. That's going to destroy his confidence. They did say that they were going to let Penix know about going with Tua. But I think this is a good sign. It's competition, and I think that Penix, contrary to some people's opinion, I don't think that Penix is a sensitive guy. I think that he's a competitor. Ian Cunningham talked about knowing that Penix is a high competitor. On the team, they know he's like that. We also heard, and I know a lot of people, this doesn't hold a lot of weight for people. Terry Fontenot recently said that Penix is a heavy competitor. And I think he's always going to prepare as if he doesn't have it in the bag. In my humble opinion, I think it's Penix's job to lose because I think he is the more talented quarterback of the two. And I'm a big believer that if you have two players that are very closely matched, you go with the younger guy and you develop him. Because in my humble opinion, and me and Doe talked about this, and I'll let him comment about this a little bit more. But Penix is a little bit better and more judicious with the football. Although Tua is a very accurate guy, he is one of those guys that is not as judicious with the football. His touchdown to interception ratio, and I'm going to work on trying to get that on the screen. I didn't prepare to think about that. But his touchdown to interception ratio is not quite what Penix's is. You got to think in 12 games last year, although the touchdown total wasn't there with Penix, it was 9 touchdowns, and I think he was largely held back by the coordinator. He only threw 3 interceptions to 9 touchdowns. That is a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and that's kind of what you want. You want to at least be 2-to-1. All the good quarterbacks, the gunslingers are more around 2-to-1. Really good quarterbacks are around 3-to-1, and I don't feel as though Tua gives you enough upside to throw those amounts of touchdowns. I mean, those amount of interceptions. And they also talk about how Tua might be a little bit more shell-shocked with some of the previous injuries he's had. Of course, we know that Penix has that knee injury, and people talk about him being a little bit timid. But I think that Tua's been a little bit timid as well, too. Doe, let me know what you think. And you guys in the comments, let us know what you think about that as well, too. Who you think is going to win that competition, who you like to see starting, and we'll answer those questions in a second. I'm going to let Doe kind of give his opinion on that as well.
I mean, I think as far as Tua, a lot of people don't like Tua because he's had bad pass play. It can very well mean he's not comfortable with the system or he's not comfortable with the coaches. It could have been anything. Does think he has a lot of he has happy feet. He starts getting frustrated, tossing the ball all over the place. But he's definitely a gunslinger. He's definitely gonna get the ball down the field. He doesn't have such a huge arm, but he has a very accurate one. That's minus last season. Of course, we all know last season he had 15 picks. But he did throw for 20 touchdowns, 2,600 yards, I believe. He's definitely a baller when in the zone. I know we've heard facts about him not playing well in the cold, but also he whoops on the NFC South quite well. I think he's 5-1 against the NFC South. So, I mean, he has some upside and some downside. Me personally, it's all about who's going to be healthy. I think if Penix is not healthy coming the beginning of the season, definitely it's going to be Tua's job, unfortunately. I don't say unfortunately. I mean, for those who don't like what Tua has done, I think if he turns it around, he becomes more honed in on his skills, and I think he has the skills to do it. It's definitely going to be a tight race. I like Penix. Simple fact, I like Penix. The fact is, we got 2-3 years with him.
Right.
So, you got him at a cheap price. He's a young guy. Although Tua is only 2 years older than Penix, if I'm not mistaken.
2 years older, but
I think,
4 years in the league more? Yeah.
Yeah, he's 28, I think, and Penix is 26.
Penix is 26.
So, Penix is 26. Tua is 28. He has skill. He has more league skill than Penix. That's definitely going to come into play at some point. So it's just all about, man. Let's look at different quarterbacks around the league that went to different teams. We just saw one win a Super Bowl.
Right.
He was trash when he got drafted. The Jets, everybody was looking at him like, yo, you are boo-boo. But look at him now. He's hoisting that Lombardi trophy high above his head. So it just depends on the system also. So let's see. It's going to be a good battle. And I think it's good for Penix as well. I mean, if I'm a coach coming in and I didn't draft you, you wasn't a product of my environment. So, yeah, I want to see you battle. You got to win your job for me, Right. And that's good to have competition. These guys have been competing all of their careers. That's what you have to do. You got to compete to win the position. But I do think, overall, it is Penix's job to lose.
Right.
Let's start there. It's definitely Penix's job to lose. And if Tua can come in and press and turn heads, take this team to a couple of victories, it's going to be Tua's job.
Right. And you guys can see we have those stats on the screen for you right now of Tua over the last few years. And I'm going to see if I can actually get that a little bit higher. But as Doe talked about, last year, Tua gave you 2,600 yards. Just in 2023, he was 4,000 yards, and that was when they were, saying that he could potentially be an MVP. The year before that, it was 3,500 plus, and that was 25 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. And then the 2023 season, that was 29 to 14 interceptions. So he could be okay. 2024, it was 19 to 7. Last year, it was 20 to 15, and he got benched eventually. I'm not sure 100% if that was necessarily performance or if that was more about his health. I think it was more of a performance because I think he was more of a healthy scratch as we got down the stretch in that space. But all in all, man, I think it's going to be interesting to where they are with them. Like you said, these guys have been competing all their career. These guys have been coddled. Quarterbacks have always been coddled. Bill Parcells is one of those guys that will tell you can't treat the quarterback the same as you treat everybody else, or Jimmy Johnson especially.
No, you can't.
Yeah, they're not going to be treated the same. So it is going to be kind of interesting. But I'm gonna hop over to the chat real quick to get you guys' thoughts about Tua. Before we talk about Tua in there, though, David Ireland does say Adam Randall at Clemson to match up with Bijan. Randall was a converted receiver. He's a running back now, runs all the routes on the wide receiver tree, could possibly play 22 personnel with him out there. I'm kind of curious and interested about that. I think we definitely need to get somebody who's more of a power back. I didn't watch Clemson a whole lot. I'm more, admittedly, more of a SEC football guy, but I will do some due diligence to check him out a little bit more. Let me know where he is, if you don't mind, where he is projected to look to be drafted, and I'll see if I can look that up real quick if you don't get it for me
Well,
first.
me personally, I like Emmett Johnson. What, 5'10", he ran a 4.5. He's a dog. He can get in the paint. He can make some guys afraid to tackle him. I like Emmett Johnson. I like what's the other dude's name I was looking at? Jaden Ott. Jaden Ott's another one. He's a big guy, 5'11". He can run over people. So we need a guy that's gonna come in and power over people. Get that same role as our beloved Algier had, and but we also to look into the free agency. What's his? I can't think of his name. I don't know. He just played with the Browns, man. What's the running back?
You're not talking about Nick Chubb, are you?
Nick Chubb. I'm sorry, guys. Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
I think Nick Chubb would be a great addition. It just depends on how much he wants. But I think Nick Chubb would be a great addition. He'll bring on that Algier role. He didn't have as many touchdowns as Algier last year. But yet he can get in the paint. He can make some guys hurt, and he can get loose. So we need that to complement with Bijan. I wouldn't mind seeing a guy with some speed. What's that young guy with the 4.3 speed? Now I know we're not gonna get no Jeremiah Love, but like 4.3 speed, speedster guy.
Mm-hmm.
He can, and also Nicholas Singleton. He was a fast guy. He ran a 4.3, I think, in the combine, if I'm not mistaken. So these are some guys. We got some options. Running backs normally don't go that high. Maybe Jeremiah Love, but outside of that, I think it'll be some day 3 or day 2, day 3 guys that might still be good in the pack. So we got some options out there, some speed out there on the field. We don't really need that much speed. I think we need more power than anything.
And I want you guys to keep in mind also, Brian Robinson is still out there on the in free agency as well too. He'd be a perfect complement to Bijan, all except for the fact that he's had, I think, I can't remember, it's 5 or 8 fumbles over his career so
He
far.
can hold on to the ball.
Yeah, he has problems, and that was one thing I liked about Tyler Algier. He had never fumbled the ball. We already have a little bit of some issues with Bijan fumbling sometimes, although I don't think that Bijan has an issue with fumbles. I think that he's more pressing because he knows that the team is depending on him and he wants to win. He's used to being on more of a winning program than where the Falcons are right now, so I think that he probably tries to do a little bit too much and overextend himself, and that's why we have some fumbles with him. But I think Bijan's going to correct that a little bit more this year.
You said somebody said something about Randall?
Yeah, Adam
the guy
Randall from
that played
Clemson.
with Clemson?
Yeah, where do you know where he's projected at, though?
I think he's going to project it like a day 3 pick. How they got him listed on as far as the prospects list. But listen, Adam Randall, let's talk about it. Whoever said Adam Randall, I was going to mention him as well. Downhill runner. He like to put his chest or his cleats in somebody's chest. I like that. This guy's powerful, can be something, especially if he's coached up right. And he's going behind Bijan. He's not relying to be that number 1 guy. Get him in there, get a good 5-6, get a good first down, good goal line guy. Yeah, I think he'll be a great pick. That's a sneaky pick right there.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the role we need, and that's what I really like about this staff is they're really more about making sure that we fulfill specific roles. You definitely see that with the defense. Ulbrich talked about that, making sure that we have the multiplicity, having guys that have superpowers in certain areas. And I think that that's where we're going on this offense as well, too. You see that specifically, and I'm not sure if they're going to keep the tight end, Warner, out there. I don't know who's going to be our number 2 tight end consistently, but they're definitely wanting to do that with also bringing back in Hooper. There's a special skill set that Kyle Pitts brings. Zacchaeus and Dotson, they bring in a special skill set as a field stretcher and guys who have speed. Whatever role that Dotson brings to you, I think that you're going to have that as well with Zacchaeus, but on a lesser level. He's more of his designated backup in case he goes down. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do with the wide receiver position as well. But definitely we need to fulfill that short yardage back situation. A lot of people don't realize that Bijan is a great short yardage back as well too. Well, he's a good he's a great in between the tackles runner. There's really no limit to what he does, but I wouldn't necessarily call him a power back, but I think he's our best all around back with whatever, even in short yardage, because you're not sure if they're going to drop something out to the flats with him, or if they're gonna run it with him even in a short yardage situation. And I think that delays and gets your defense overthinking. Just speaking as a former linebacker myself, when I got a guy out there that I know ain't scared to run it, to put his feet down, drop his head, and still move forward. Bijan is a hard guy to tackle. You're not going to be able to tackle him. It's an arm tackler. So I think people get it twisted that he's just a speed back. But Bijan's close to 220 pounds, 215, 218, 217. Imagine Marshall Faulk with a little bit more power running. Imagine Christian McCaffrey with a little bit more power to him. And that's kind of Bijan's game. Maybe not quite as fast as those two guys, but still a matchup nightmare nonetheless. But I think that power running is where we really want to be at with some of that. And we'll see what happens as free agency looms along. I think that they're going to take any opportunity to be able to fill that role. In the chat, Trent says, he said what Terry said the other day was that he believes or expects for Mike to continue focusing on his rehab and just go about his business right away. And Terry also said that it was a really smart business decision to get Tua in there as well too. And I agree with that, man. Like a quarterback that was a starter and you get him at just $1 million and he's still getting paid by his old team. I mean, it's a no-brainer, man. And keep in mind, we can still bring in another quarterback to compete as well along with those guys, or who could be maybe the backup running back, no matter who wins that starting role. So we could potentially carry 3 quarterbacks. The NFL does allow you to carry 3 quarterbacks, an emergency quarterback on certain days, if I'm not mistaken. So I got to find out the exact rules of that, but I know that they changed the rules for that a little bit as well too. Also, let me look over here at the chat a little bit more. It says Trenton was saying, yeah, Penix became the guy that we needed last year, 10-3. He was only in his second year. Usually you see more picks, and he didn't. He actually had less picks in his second year. His first year it was not quite as well. I think he got a little bit acclimated, and I believe that as he gets a little bit more ownership of this offense, and I really like our Alex Van Pelt as the quarterback coach. We've got 3 guys on our stuff between Van Pelt, Tommy Reese, and also having our head coach Stefanski, who have really done a number with how they work out their quarterbacks and working on quarterbacks and developing them all in their own ways. But Alex Van Pelt is specifically the quarterback guy, and Reese is a former quarterback. I believe Van Pelt is definitely a former NFL player. I believe he played quarterback as well himself. David Breland says, yeah, I agree with you. I believe that Penix will win that starting job. I'm kind of there with you guys on that. Like I said, I believe that Penix is going to win that starting job. It's just going to be a matter of who's starting when camp starts and who's starting on week 1. Now, if Tua comes out week 1 and Penix is not playing and the offense is humming, I think that they're probably not gonna bench him. If he's really humming and he's on fire, and say it's like over 2 games, and Tua has like maybe 7 touchdowns, no interceptions, the offense is really moving, he's able to hit some of those guys in stride, I believe we'll be hard pressed to see them bench Tua until he starts making some bad moves. But again, this is definitely in the Falcons' favor to be able to get Penix to the point of being able to win out, because for the long term, it's just better. I mean, you spent that draft capital on a first-round quarterback. You want to see him, just deliver.
I just think that they don't care. They don't care if it was a first round or whoever he was. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? They were like, hey, this is not my guy. I didn't draft him. Not one guy in that front office drafted Penix. They have no allegiance to him. They're like, hey, you can pan out or you can't. Don't matter to us. We're trying to find a good quarterback that's going to get in here and win. And I think that's the thing that people are missing. I get it, the loyalty of having a first-round pick. And, there's no loyalty. Look at Tua. They pay him over $100 million, and they left, got rid of him, said, hey, this is our first-round pick. We just paid him 2 years ago. and we let him go, and we took a $99 million hit. So I don't think in the way Stefanski operates is we seen the quarterback drama there in Cleveland, and a lot of people say it was racism. I don't think it was racism. I just think the guy didn't like him as far as his play. He didn't like certain things he did. He felt like he couldn't take the team where he wanted it to go. And that, again, comes from when the front office backdoors the coaching staff and said, hey, we're going to take this guy because I like him. Start him. Don't start him. That causes conflict. So we'll see. Like you said, I think it should be a QB competition. I do like Penix. Penix has a great arm for me personally. I like his play. I think he can, most of the games besides, shy of a couple games out there, such as the Carolina game and what other game Penix struggled in, we were in those games.
Right.
We could have very well won. There was, I think, the whole coaching staff situation, they did him wrong. I'm going to say that. Now, he did himself wrong on certain occasions, but you didn't coach the young guy up. Last year was really his first rookie season. I mean, we can look at it, those past 3 games, that was rehearsal. But the last year was really his rookie season. So I just think, give him a shot. Let's see what he do. If he can handle business against Tua's been in the league, 6 years? You can handle business against a veteran quarterback that's been proven to do it, that has a higher win percentage than he does losses, has a high accuracy rating. And let's see. Who knows? I think I'm there for it. I want the war, baby. Let's go.
Right, man. I love the battles, the competition.
I like competition.
Competition brings out the best in everybody.
It does.
It definitely does. Splasher 613 says that Randall is a load. He also says that Van Pelt is a hell of a hire, which I totally agree with, as you guys already know.
Absolutely.
I think this is really going to do wonders for this team, for sure. Trenton was saying, let me get back, man. You guys really been going at it in here in this chat. I want to talk, give a shout out to Moo Grant. You've been chiming in with us as well a lot too, bro. He says, I would love that Trenton. Penix is a grown man and will continue to learn and get hungry and play. He does have that dog in him, which I love in my quarterback.
He does.
Man, look, I love that about Penix too. He's got that
confident
edge in him that Baker has, where he'll go out here, he will fight a defensive end or a defensive lineman. He don't care. He's like you said, I'm from Dade, bro. Like don't F with me, man.
He's so poised in the pocket. Look at the guy when he played. I mean, you almost forget he was a rookie. He's very poised in the pocket. He sits strong, and that kind of matches who he is. That kind of matches his personality. If you look at the guy, right, when he talk, he just cool, yeah, I'm just here for it, and I think I'm gonna make it happen. Blah blah blah. He don't even use words like I think or I think I can or he uses words.
We're gonna be all right. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get to the playoff run. Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And that matches his play on the field. I just think he wasn't coached up. There's certain parts you're going to get rookie issues with the rookie.
Right.
And people have been dogging this guy as if he's just trash. Like he came out and he was just a bust. He's not a bust. He's not a bust. Yeah, he's injury prone. Now, I told you, Simo, I said, hey, listen, I don't like the fact that the guy been out of 8 times, 8 professional seasons he even played, he been injured 5 of them. But, hey, right. Like you said before, you made a point. College is college, but an injury is an injury.
Right.
But hey, let's see. Two also is he went here to wait. He a walking handicap sticker.
Yeah, man. Two was throwing up quit signs on the gang signs on the pavement, man. And I don't want to make light of concussions, man, because I had a lot of concussions that never went diagnosed. They say whatever you see lightning when you hit somebody, you got concussed. And I was like, damn, I got concussed a lot then. So
hey, look,
CTE is real.
That's real.
Right.
Hey, look, that man. It's crazy. The Falcons doubled down on injuries. They said, "Oh, you hold my beer." You talking about one injury-prone quarterback? Let me bring in another one. Hold my beer. I thought that was wild.
No, that is wild. That's why I would really like to see us bring in a third emergency quarterback.
Absolutely. What do you think about the Falcons maybe drafting a QB late? Maybe one that falls, because QBs we've been seeing in these past 3 to 4 years in the draft, good QBs have fallen in the draft. What do you think about that?
I feel like if you do draft a guy late, they pretty much can be nothing but a backup for you. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I like to get guys who are a little bit more proven in there, and just for Penix and his situation, I'd like to see more of a journeyman guy. But I think that's a good thing too. I don't think we've had a lot of great success with drafting quarterbacks late, but you look at somebody like a Tyson Bagent, he's actually been good at that. He's one of those guys.
Ooh, I like that guy.
Yeah, a lot of people have talked about around the league about
like
how much
him.
they like him, and that was somebody that they were thinking the Falcons were going to potentially go after. So I'm not totally against it. I just think it depends on what's available. Just for us specifically, I'd like to see Ian Cunningham continue to shore up the trenches. I would be more comfortable and much more like us getting a guy in free agency after the draft that we could sign. But I'd be down to get us a guy later if it's like a Malik Willis type of talent, a guy who could do a little bit more with his legs, more of a project.
A project.
Yeah, but then again, you looked at me, you wind up having a guy like Felipe Franks if you do that as well too. And a lot of people were really trying to see him come along. And you could easily have somebody that's like a Desmond Ridder if you draft them late. So I think that those late draft picks, they really matter a lot more than people think, especially when we're talking around the fifth or sixth round. And if you get a guy in the seventh round, it's like, what is he really? But although Tom Brady was drafted in the seventh round too, but I do trust Ian Cunningham's decision making when it comes to.
So was Brock Purdy.
Yeah, Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. So yeah, I think you can still get somebody. I like the scouting department that we have. I don't know all of our scouts, but Ian Cunningham talked about how great he likes the scouting department, and we know that Ian Cunningham has a lot of talent as a scout. That's where his hallmark is as a GM. So if there's anybody that I trusted to be able to do that, I trust him a little bit more than Terry to be able to do that in terms of scouting and being able to get the talent. That's why he's able to get some of these bargain guys.
Yeah,
that he's had.
Let's not rule out offensive linemen too.
That's why I really want to go with some offensive linemen later on. I do think that
Jake Matthews is getting old.
Jake Matthews is getting old. I think Jake Matthews is going to definitely play another year. The way that they restructured his contract is set up for him to be able to do that. If he retires, then we're good. I don't think they did anything with McGarry, so we're probably going to have to do something about that because he's on the last year.
2 years.
Yeah, he's on the 2-year extension. Keep in mind, we're going to have to definitely bring back Bergeron. I think the Falcons would be stupid to let him walk. That was
they're going to sign him.
Yeah, still in the second round. Even though he's not necessarily a premier guard, he's
third round, I think.
Second round. He's second round.
Was he second round?
Definitely second round.
Okay.
Definitely second round. I think we drafted him in the same year as somebody else. I think it was the same year we got Ebukam, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was the year after that. But he was definitely a second round player. Real quick, I want to give a few more shout outs to this chat. Trent was saying what he loves about Tua is that he's accurate. If Mike doesn't learn to set his feet, Tua could beat him in camp based off the many missed passes he's had because he throws a bunch due to his footwork. And I think that he will fix that up. You also said that there's a world where if Tua wins out, Mike can continue to help him develop and maybe get a chance down the road. Tua's only on a 1-year deal, and that's what our boy David Breland was saying. He would like that as well too. What Moo Grant was saying that he really likes as well. Also, Moo Grant says, I just believe that when Tua gets the job, that when Tua gets the job, it's going to be his job to keep. And I like both quarterbacks, to be honest. I love lefty QBs. And I think that's a great thing you brought up about the lefty QBs. It's really great that you don't have to change your offense around. If one of those guys gets hurt, it doesn't take a lot for the other for your receivers to get adjusted to that. And so if we could get another guy that's a lefty, lefties don't come up, they're not very common. That would be huge. So if we do, and back to your point, though, if we can get a lefty late, I think that would take precedence over some of those other positions. And me and you were talking about this as well, though, how we were talking with J-Bo the other day. Penix, a lot of people don't realize he's ambidextrous. He could throw with both hands as well too. So I think that if Penix can actually get a little bit more acclimated, he can make some more of those trick throws that people wouldn't. He can make those off-target throws. He's a former baseball player. So, with your daughters out there want to get on camera? We got Doe in the background doing the Family Guy stuff. I'm gonna keep reading some more of these comments though. Tonio 803 Tonio says, "What about
No,
Jamal
I'm here.
Haynes from G Tech?" I like that.
I'm sorry about that.
I like that. No, you good, bro. I understand, man. This the Bird Bath, bro. We ain't bougie, man. You know, I'm all about family, man. You know what I'm saying? Trent says, "Ooh, Haynes is a steal too." Jonah Coleman and Seth McGowan, nice too. Comparisons to Cordero Patterson, David Breland says. Who are you talking about specifically with the comparisons to Cordero Patterson? Let me know down there in the chat. Perfect.
Who?
That's what I'm trying to figure out who he was talking about. 235 too. Yeah. Might be talking. Let me see who else we have in here. The key to
That boy ran
Bijan
angry.
is moving him pre-snap. I agree. I think Bijan does everything though. There's not anything that Bijan can't do. I think we're going to definitely just continue growing more with him. Taylon Green would be a steal if he's still available late, or Haynes King, says 803 Tonio. That's nice. Jake Slaughter could be our second round pick. Could be our starter, Trenton Houston says. Jake Slaughter. You guys got some names out here for me to definitely pop in, man. I love that you guys are way more into the college game than I am. Again, I'm mostly an SEC guy, and that even becomes limited for me during the season. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Adam Randall. Okay, that's who you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, Randall is a dog, man.
235.
That boy.
Yep.
Yeah, that boy played hard. I think 5'11", if I'm not mistaken. That guy plays hard, man. Like when I saw him a couple of the games, man, I was like, yeah, I like this dude. I could see him being a problem out there. I'm telling you, man, just you pair somebody like that, man, that guy. I'm sorry, he's not 5'11", he's 6'3".
Yeah, that's why they said. That's why they brought the Cordero Patterson
6'3"
comparisons.
Oh yeah, that Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, because people don't.
Makes sense. Yeah.
A lot of people don't some people don't even remember. In college, Patterson was more of a gadget guy that was a wide receiver. And when they drafted him, he was a wide receiver. They eventually moved him to running back, but he should have probably been playing.
And Randall, he catches out the backfield too. He's pretty good at that too.
Yeah. So
yep.
I like
that. And he's
man.
a Clemson product, man. Atlanta and Clemson are like connected for some reason. You'll think Atlanta and Georgia would be. For some reason, Atlanta likes Clemson players, man.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens in this draft moving forward, man. Yeah, man.
I'm not watching today too.
And we still got some more. I got to find out where we are exactly with cap space. I think that the restructuring of
like $20 million, right? Well, it's not $20 million.
Well, yeah, put us up around $20 million. But then when we signed Hand. Hand, that was a $3 million deal. I don't know the details of some of these other deals that we had, and I don't know what we re-signed your boy LaCale London for. But that's going to be a huge.
It was definitely a team-friendly deal. Definitely. I can check that for you if you like.
Yeah. See if you can find. I looked it up yesterday, but they're a little bit slow with that. Adam Randall, they're saying is a 5th to 6th round pick as of right now.
Steal. That's a steal.
Yeah. So that would be nice. And like you say, even the converted wide receiver thing. I mean, hell, him being that is a big load to take down. They have him listed at 6'2", 6'2", 6'3". You know, they these weights fluctuate. These heights fluctuate. They try to juice you up. If they list him at 6'2", he might even be only 6'1". But
yeah.
Definitely, I like a lot of where we are. It just disconnected my chat, but I'm going to bring in a couple of other names right here. 803 Tonio says, do y'all think Peter Woods will fall to the 2nd round? That would be a steal for an interior lineman. It's hard.
Peter Woods?
It's hard to tell, man. Sometimes guys, they drop like immediately, even during the draft. You never know what type of things can make a guy draft. What pops off later during the process. What kind of information becomes a lot more accessible and available. Peter Woods is a guy that I saw. I think Winston from the eye test. Shout out to them. He was talking about Peter Woods earlier as well too. I think that anything could happen.
He gonna go.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Hey, we got to also too. We got to wait for the pro day. Pro days really when scouts feast. Combines can lie,
Combines can lie.
right? You can get everybody talking about 40 time, blah, 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 his shuffle. Nah, pro day, that's when people gonna feast. That's when they're gonna be like, all right, let's go. We're gonna see who we
Right.
want. That pro day gonna tell everything. Peter Woods is, I doubt he's gonna fall that low. I think somebody gonna scoop. He's like
And
ranked 4
and I want to
linebackers. I'm sorry,
I
defensive
want to
ends.
bring up his more D tackle, but I got his stats
Another
out there. If I'm
Clemson
not,
guy.
I think they just let me see where they have him projected in here in terms of his comp comparison to Christian Wilkins, and I've got his combine information up here. His production scores at 81, athleticism scores at 76, total score 79. The prospect grade 6.36. That means we'll be an eventual starter. We're talking about 6'2", 298. Arm reach is pretty solid.
Yeah, he's a little slow around the curve, but
Strengths are a power to explosive athlete. Lateral quickness frequently defeats attempted reach blocks. Ties hands with feet to slide across blockers. Explodes his hips through initial contact. Good feel for finding the seam and split the double team. That's one thing that you really like. Has the ability to kind of get out there as a two-gapper. We don't really do a lot of two-gapping. Some of his weaknesses says plays lighter but gives more ground against single blocks. That's always a thing that you hate to hear, but a lot of guys that at this level, like defensive line, can be really tough for guys to acclimate. Short arms. I was looking at that arms wingspan, arm length. Says that he has shorter arms that prevents him from keeping blockers out of his frame. And the biggest thing is if you let these guys get in here to your pads, if they're able to get into your chest, they can hold you essentially. And that's a thing that I dealt with. I'm 6 foot and half an inch. Whenever I played against guys that were like maybe 6'2", 6'3", they're just able to lock out on me in ways that if I'm not able to beat them to the punch. So that's kind of a thing that you don't want to have. It says average twist quickness to set off scheme rush. And we like to do a lot of stunts. We do a lot of twisting with Ulbrich. He likes to do that with those defensive tackles. That's why he likes these guys that are a little bit more nimble. But wouldn't be against it. Would not be against it if we could get him. But I'm not sure what Ulbrich is specifically valuing out there as well too. Let me see if the chat is connected. And we're gonna get up out of here in a second. We are back with our chat. Trent, we'll take a few more topics, and I'm gonna let you close out with any of your closing remarks that you might have as well too, though. It says Jam Miller is going to be an NFL backup. And Tonio 803 Tonio says another steal could be Overton or Christen Miller. I'm sorry. That's who somebody was talking about earlier as well. Forget which one of you guys were talking about that on the last show, but y'all mentioned Christen Miller. Overton or Christen Miller as an interior defensive lineman. I definitely would like to see us get some more interior defensive linemen. I'm kind of torn on whether we should do that as high. I think cornerback is our next primary need. I would love to see us get a cornerback. If we don't go with that in free agency, there's a very good chance that we go with that in the draft, though. And I'm not sure who actually is available. I'll do that in the next show. Guys have been rapidly being taken in free agency, though. It says we have two guys better than Wood, Trent Houston says. And Christen Miller is the only tackle worth a second-round pick for us. Would love to see Ian actually move up with our second plus third. Trent, man, if there's a way we can move back, I'd be open to that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to move up.
Yeah, if we could move back even later in the second round to pick up some other guys, I'd love to see a wide receiver or a cornerback early on. I like where we've been at with the edge. I like what we've done with the edge. I think that these edge guys can be very hit and miss. Even though it's such a premier position, it can be very hit and miss with edge. And I'd hate to draft another Arnold Ebukam. So that's my only thing with drafting an edge guy so so high. People take a lot of swings at him. And we, over the years, historically, have not been great with our edge rushers drafting until we got Vic Beasley. But before that, it had been really bad. I mean, remember Jamal Anderson, who wound up being a really good run defender, the other Jamal Anderson, who really good run defender, but I think we drafted him in the first round, and he just never could put it together as a pass rusher, and we were never able to get those bookends where we had him along with John Abraham. So mixed bag. Then Vic Beasley, first round draft pick, and then he had a great season with 15 sacks or something like that, and then he fell off. And it's like, oh well, he doesn't really love football like that. So
y'all talking about sleeper? I like TCU linebacker. What's his name? Caleb Elrams. I can't pronounce his name. Elrams or that guy that had all them tackles. Yeah, man, he had 130 tackles last season.
And I like Rodriguez as well too at Texas Tech. So we still have some of those. Says, what other free agent corners are worth taking outside of Sneed? 803 Tonio asks. R. Mason Thomas or Oklahoma from Oklahoma. Sorry, R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma would be OC. And Trent says, I'd move for Miller. He won't make it to 48. Again, I think it's really going to depend on where they want to go at with those defensive tackles. I like what we have at tackle already. I think that we just need to add a few more guys that can really eat up a lot more space. I hate having it where Rook and Zach Harrison, he's another guy who I think Zach Harrison was potentially on pace to do what we had.
If he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, what we had Brandon Dorless do. You got to remember, when he got hurt, Zach Harrison had 4.5 sacks, and he was our sack leader on the team. I have that back.
And he was looking good in that Auburn defense.
He was looking great in Auburn's
defense.
And he could play legit defensive end. And come for opening day, there is a strong chance that he might be our starting edge rusher. And then they bring in Ebukam and Olare.
Rotation piece.
As rotation.
Olare,
yeah, specialist.
Olare has it.
Yeah,
Olare.
But if you could start off with Zach Harrison as your other edge rusher, because
it ain't bad, bro.
Even when people break out a little bit, he brings to the table what Calais Campbell brought to the table with having such height that he could get in your passing lanes. And it's not so much about can they get to the quarterback if they break the pocket, but he makes it where you can't just get the corner on him. And if he just jumps out, he's got such a long span. I think he's at like 6'4", 6'5". And he's not slow. He's faster than what Calais Campbell had out there. So if we could use him more on the edge as we initially drafted him and not have to have him as an interior defender, and then be able to bump him down on some of the sure passing downs. But I think because he was just so good out there, they wanted to play him a lot more defensive tackle. Same thing for Brandon Lewis. That's why I'm like, if we can bring a lot more run defenders guys who could be run defenders but still be good pass rushers like LaCale London. He's a guy that people were talking about in my shows last year during camp. And I kind of slept on him a little bit, and he wound up really, really killing it. They were talking about him being a nose tackle, but he really dropped his weight down after the Bears released him. I think we had him as a practice squad guy at first, but if we could bring in another LaCale London, and then maybe again add another just run stuffer, because I think LaCale London and Hand and even the other guy that we just signed from Chicago, they kind of all three of those guys give a lot of what Anyamata was giving, and they're better as pass rushers as well too. So I really like that. But I think it's just really going to depend on where we move at with some of those moves out there. Tonio says, y'all think we could get C.J. Allen, or y'all think we done with LB's or Anthony Hill from Texas? C.J. Allen. I don't think so. I think isn't C.J. Allen looking at it as a first rounder? I don't know. I think
C.J. Allen's gone, bro.
If he drops, I'd go with it.
Yeah.
If he drops,
would you
I'll
trade
go
up
with
for
it.
him?
But I don't think C.J. Allen's gonna make it out of the first round. Maybe he gets to 48. He's a top 50 player that I think they're talking about. Now I'm seeing them talking about him being a later round draft pick. I think it just depends on what people are, if there's a run on certain players. You never know what's going to happen with that draft. Sometimes people start valuing people in ways that you didn't expect. So
he's actually number 4.
Number four, what, linebacker or draft?
Linebacker,
Okay.
linebacker, not draft.
Okay.
But he's considered like the top 4 linebacker in the league, in the college football.
Right. I mean, you got the guys out. One of the guys out of Ohio State for sure. Kind of 2 of them, but one for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be really interesting, man. But
he's Khalil Mack-ish to me.
Yeah. It's gonna be really interesting to see where they are. I don't want to falsely project. I don't think he's gonna be there though. I just don't think.
No, he's gonna be gone.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go a lot sooner. But if he does drop, I'd definitely go with him depending on what we do in this free agency. I need to find out
What do the Saints pick?
When do the Saints pick?
Yeah.
I don't know 100%. No, I think they do have a first round draft pick as well.
They're like, because if they, I can see them going after them. They, with their Asian linebackers, they like good linebackers. That's just their defensive scheme. So I can see the Saints picking up somebody like him, just because they're the Saints. They'll do some crap like that.
Let me see who's available in free agency real quick. I'm just gonna pull that up on the phone real quick.
What linebackers?
No, the cornerbacks. Who's available in free
Cornerbacks
agency.
available?
See, Google it's already bringing up like Jalen Watson, who I know was already signed. Newsome signed somewhere already. Let's see. Yeah, I'll
tell you right now. DJ Reed, Nate Hobbs.
I think it's all about how much they're going to cost, because everybody's good. It's all about how much does a person cost. I've said this before. A lot of guys are great depending on how much they cost, but yeah, we'll tap in a little bit more with some more of this stuff, man. Doe, anything you want to say before we get up out of here, man? Because we're getting close to our time. I hate ever going over an hour with this, and we're coming up close on that.
No, I think, man. Listen, like I said, I like the moves he's making. It's kind of predicting the way it's going to go in the draft, and I'm a firm believer that I believe we're going to take, because we're stacking on a lot of defensive positions. We haven't touched is the key. We haven't really touched the cornerback situation, which is not that bad because we got Watts, Bowman, we got your boy, who's your guy you say this ain't bad. I don't like him. What's our second cornerback? Mike Hughes. We got Mike Hughes, but
we got CJ Henderson out there as well too. A lot of people don't remember.
I remember him. We got him last year.
Yeah, I was expecting CJ Henderson to play a lot more, and we kept him on the practice squad for a lot of the year. But then we wound up bringing him in. A lot of people like Kobe Bryant, but I'm not really big on Kobe. I'm like, but
Kobe Bryant he got mollywopped out there. He was. That boy, I mean, listen, he was a rookie. He was coming in a high pressure situation. So, hey, I'm not gonna hold it over his head. But like you said, I think we're going to go secondary, somewhere between second and third round. If it's good guys out there, it's a lot of meat on the bone coming in the second round. You said it before. You said most guys actually don't fare very well as cornerbacks coming out of the first round in the draft. More or less in the second and third. The Eagles showing us that. When they drafted their cornerback. So I think, man, go cornerback. You shored up that defensive line. See, and that's the place you don't want to kind of play with, right? You don't want to go get a guy that's got to prove himself, right? You want somebody that's proven, get in there, get some good rotational pieces. We see that's Auburn's scheme. That's his style of play, is to get those rotational pieces in there. No one's getting tired. You can't really game plan because you don't know how they coming. So, yeah, I think, man, they're making some great moves. Like I said, please, guys, don't hate me on this one, but look for the Falcons to gain some more draft capital by coming back. Now, we do get some compensatory picks, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct?
Yeah, we do have some compensatory picks coming from the Kaden Elliss signing, and then some of it's pending. I think Kaden Elliss might be the one that's pending. Definitely going to get one for the Tyler Algier, and I think for David Onyemata as well too. Although these are like 5th and 6th round type picks, but I mean, again, Algier was a 5th round pick, so I I think it all. You could definitely develop those guys later. Keep in mind, Grady Jarrett was a 5th round pick himself, and so we could definitely do something with those. Those would be in 2027 though, so they might be able to trade those picks up. But Ian Cunningham definitely knew what he was doing by letting some of those guys go, as opposed to overpaying. I think he's been overpaid to bring in Kaden Elliss as well too. If you guys, I think we got the numbers have been increasing in the room right now. If you're still with us and you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, hit that notifications bell. Like we will keep you guys up to date with all the moves that are moving in free agency. I'm gonna double check a few more things in this chat before we go, and then we're gonna break up out of here. Also, you brought up Billy Bowman, and he's still recovering from that Achilles tear. And while guys are able to recover from the Achilles, that's what Ebukam had as well too. That was an injury that he had, but it usually takes about a year or a little bit more than a year. They could come back before a year, but it takes a little more than a year, as Hightower was saying. Keep in mind, Hightower is our resident sports specialist. Yeah, he was my personal trainer in high school for a year, and he trained Allen Iverson. He trained linebacker off of the Bucks before, former NFL player himself that played on practice teams. But yeah, he talked about how having that Achilles tear, you can bounce back from it, but it definitely could take you a little bit longer than a year off top. You can come back before a year, but to get back to your regular form, it could take a little bit more than a year.
It's a mental lapse too.
It's a mental thing. It's definitely a mental thing for people. We're gonna check one more time in this chat, get it, because you guys are still popping out there in that chat. Tonio, 803 Tonio says that D. Alford as well. We get a pick for him. You're right. That was who the other person I was thinking about. D. Alford was the other guy.
You're right.
Yeah, and I'm glad we didn't overpay D. Alford. $7 million per year?
7.6 or something.
Yeah, I think they front loaded his contract. And he came back on the back end. I'm glad we didn't. There was another guy.
They paid him like a 2.
Yeah, man. I just think that's a bit much for him. I'm not sure how they're going to use him. Shout out to the homie Obi-Wan Janowski. I kind of joked with him on the show before about some of his comments about Pitts.
OB.
But he was saying that it wouldn't have been that much to bring back Tyler Algier, Kaden Elliss, and bringing back D. Alford. In my humble opinion, just between D. Alford and Algier, those guys would have been both. Algier would have been getting paid more than Bijan Robinson this year. That $6 million that they give him. Bijan is only getting paid around $5 million this year. And then Hughes, we're not paying him more than, I think we're paying him about $5 or $6 million. I think it's around $6 million. We would have been paying Alford more than Mike Hughes. And for what it's worth, I know a lot of you guys don't like Mike Hughes, but he is better than D. Alford. I'm
not spending that type of money
I'm not
on
spending that. I'm not spending
offensive
that
players, and then no, bro.
Yeah. Now you said you would take him back over Natron Brooks, Tony. I 100% agree. Listen. I don't think that Natron Brooks is going to be our nickel back. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't see him.
He's the special teamers.
Yeah. If that, I mean, he got toasted. I'd rather have Clark. And keep in mind, we do still have Clark Phillips. I think he had some injuries last year. He's a guy that's not a special teamer. The only problem with Clark Phillips is he lacks a little bit of top end speed. He's got pretty good ball skills. He's a very strong competitor. He's a little undersized with his height. He might be maybe 6 feet, a little bit shorter than that. But I'm a little bit both ways on that. I think he was like maybe a 4'6", 40 guy. Let me see what his height
Clark
is.
Phillips?
Clark Phillips, yep.
He's
5'9", man.
Yeah, he's 5'9".
That's the only problem is he doesn't have that type of height. He's more of a zone guy, in my opinion. Real quick, Trent says there's no way we could pay backups more than the starters. Ian sees that out the gate, and I agree with that. That's why I'm also I kind of feel a little bit more comfortable with what we're able to do with all the speed that we brought at even linebacker. I wouldn't have went and paid that to Kaden Elliss. I think that he's a bit more. He's still great at what he does, but you got to keep in mind he's 30 years old.
30.
Yeah, so to give him that type of, I mean, he might keep his speed up. He might. I think he's definitely going to have lost a step or two, But those guys, it's more of a cerebral game. It's up here. But as you start to losing that speed, look at a Bobby Wagner. He was one of the league leaders in tackles, amongst the top 5 in tackles last year, over like 120, 130 something tackles, maybe 150. But he's not the same sideline to sideline defender that he was. And just in 1 year, during the rookie year of Jaden Daniels, they were using him to spy some of these athletic guys. And then last year, he had lost such a step or two that he was more of a liability out there. And that happens real quick. That speed goes before you know it. So I don't know.
First things to go.
Yeah, you can't be giving a guy like that 12 or 13 million and him not be the dog that you need a guy to be almost a Pro Bowler or All Pro if you're going to pay him that at linebacker. I mean, look at Tremaine Edmonds. Are we talking about Tremaine Edmonds?
With the Bears?
Yeah, with the Bears. He was upward of 16 million, and a lot of people wanted to pay him. I think the Bears cut him. They were like, well, can we bring him in here? But he's going to probably command a lot on the open market. If I can't remember if he got signed or not.
No, he got signed already. He got signed to who he got? I thought it was the Bills.
I don't know what his contract was. But, I mean, again, Tremaine Edmonds wasn't out there crushing it so much that he became a Pro Bowler or an All-Pro with what he does. Although he brings a very, very good skill set. But I think that linebackers, they've shown that you could get linebackers in the 3rd and 4th round. Remember, we had Devondre Campbell, a guy that we wanted to keep here, but we weren't able to keep him. He went to Green Bay and balled out for a second. Then he went to I can't remember if he went to Arizona or Green Bay first, but he balled out in both of those spots.
He went to the Giants. Jermaine Evans. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm curious what they paid him out there. And then remember Debo, Deion Jones. We drafted him in the 2nd round, and he was one of the better linebackers in the league.
He with the Bucks.
He's still with the Bucks?
Yeah.
He's still got some speed, but he's still not a premier starter. So
he's not that same dude.
He's not that same dude, although he still does bring a lot to the table. So I really love that. 803 Tonio says, I hope we stop taking below 60 corners unless we're talking 6-foot corners, unless we're talking like Pons or Bowman. I want to look at some of Pons' skill set right there. And Trent says, we didn't need what Elliss brought anymore. He was only here after 24 because he brought pass rush. He was not a great off-ball linebacker. He was good.
He was not a good coverage linebacker.
Down on the line.
No.
You're right. Well, actually, he was pretty good. I wouldn't say great at coverage.
He got a couple picks.
He's pretty solid, pretty good at coverage. He was not a total liability, but the problem was he wasn't one of those read-it type linebackers. He wasn't a great block shedder. He's a guy that you had to kind of point and put him on the prowl a lot. You had to really point him and stunt with him a lot, honestly, because he was really he was an edge defender in college, and he just didn't really do that the same way in the pros. So that's why they blitzed with him a lot. A lot of people thought that Kaden was our best off-ball linebacker last year, but in my humble opinion, Divine Diablo, he just brought so much more to the table. But yeah, we're going to get up out of here. That's our show for today. Stay tuned throughout the rest of free agency. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Keep locking in with us, man. Join the Bird Bath if you haven't already, man. Appreciate all the love that you guys are giving us. And let me know in the comments any of the formats that you like to see us, any of the formats that you like that we're doing on the show, any of the players you'd like to see us do some breakdowns on. You guys have given me a lot of food for thought on some of these guys in the comments. I'm going to make sure I definitely do a little bit of film study on some of these guys, and we'll bring the film study and break down these guys' college tape as well, a lot too as well later on. For Doe, it's your boy Simo, the C. Mitchell, with Bird Bath ATL for Point Game Official, man. We checking out of this bitch, baby.
Peace.
Deuces.
Yeah, man.
Oh, and one other thing. Mental health is a real deal, man. J-Bo was saying that, man. I want to make sure I give a shout out, man. Keep your mental health up out there, man. A lot of men are not, we don't think about that. We keep a lot of things in. Man, if you don't got you somebody you can vent to, man, find you a brother to vent to, man. Man, hit me up. You can hit me up at Point Game Official on Instagram, man. If you're going through some things, man, we will talk issues. Me and Doe do another show with Venus to Mars where we talk about men's issues, man. There's a lot of things I want to bring to the forefront, man. If you guys are out here struggling with something, this is a safe space, but man, find you a place to vent. Do not be afraid of getting therapy, man. That is a huge thing. A lot of black men do not touch on that. I mean, men in general, people don't care what men think in general, but especially my brothers out there, man, men of color, man, it's a thing that is not talked about in our community enough, man. Make sure that you take care of your mental health. I just wanted to say that, man. I love you guys. Deuces.